So you see the same way that light is out of service, right? Then you go back to the manual on the space here. Now you're back into a manual transmission. Common sense. First person that comes inside the intersection right outside, first come first serve. That's how it's supposed to work into like all common sense, because the fact that the guy behind that control of that machine system is so have like enough distance in between him and the hazard that might be around the space here. In this case, it's an intersection. There's no light function on the space, so they know specifically every time they come through. If they can properly measure that the place is safe to cross, in this, even in this case, I'll allow them to like not even stop at all. So as long as there's like no traffic and they can make the judgment, sound, and they make the judgment turn out to sound. Yeah, go ahead and like skip the light on the space, or like the stop sign. Do your little stop for like the time being, just in case there might be a hidden camera on the space. They're taking keep pictures. Yeah, but go ahead and like somewhat treat that like a stop sign. And that's how I treat it every time I cross as a pedestrian on the space outside. Yeah, because I said by the time you come to like a Mr. Police Officer over there, so like you stand in the middle of the highway that's dead, especially with no traffic. I just wanted to know what you were doing. You reaching up, I saw, oh, let me go off and put my handcuffs around you. Yeah, never you just go off and like push you around and like throw your shit on the fucking ground over here, myself. Because I don't know that basic laws applies to me. Yeah, that's way to like damage your property. Yeah, so if you yeah, so I don't know. I feel I'm gonna get this one over here. I'm gonna be able to buy them. It's our cost for like obsessive force over here. No, because you have to remember the public servants over here that have no duty to protect you as a civilian. You have to remember that. That's how they tell you that they have no duty whatsoever to put themselves in harm's way to go off and rescue you, because of the fact that it might be too dangerous for them on the space outside. So it's not their job over here to go off and like respond to gunfires inside your own house over here, because it's too dangerous. They're gonna call somebody else that specializes in that to then go off and see if they want to respond to it. If not, they're gonna send the first responders, yeah, to clean up, yeah, to clean up inside your house. That's all. Fuck you. So don't fucking talk to me. Yeah, so I said by the end of the day, I get all these fucking pigs over here. Yeah, and Tesha do the harassment campaign against the person. I said, my dude, you have no clue what that's like to like go off and try to like find a hotel room, and then eventually the pigs send a whole bunch of mentally ill people based off of a program that's way to like runaways and stuff for them, where they have the fucking mentally ill go off and have sex right next to your hotel room just so they could get under your skin, and then go off and like role play you as if you're a nerd. Yeah, and eventually the high school football dude over here is having sex with his girlfriend. Yeah, so you over there, the cuck that's watching porn or something like that should go off and feel perverted. So then somewhere they insert the perversion about some nerd over here jerking off to like the sound of their females having sex that like mad ugly. Yeah, so they sent me the ugly ass chick over here that's like a leftover or something like that. Yeah, that work with like the police union as like snitches to then go off and have sex with some of the corrupted cops and like some of their boyfriends on the space right next to my hotel room. Just I don't know, just so I could go off and knock on the door over there and be like, yo, can you be more considerate when your neighbors are? Yeah, I got children next door. Nobody wants to hear you moan out loud, especially when they got kids around the space here. Definitely not my perversion over here. I definitely will not touch myself at the sound of like some retarded female. I don't even know what she looks like. That chick could be like the ugliest chick on earth that probably stinks or something like that. Yeah, like multiple STDs, having sex with like some of the most degenerate dudes on the planet. And then somehow I'm supposed to be like, ooh, that sounds so romantic and kinky. I just want to touch myself over there. No, that's the degenerates over the cyberspace where they're trolling random crazy stuff that they've been saying on the space. Yeah, and then somewhere they mistake me with some of these losers around the space. So then all of a sudden I got some female police officer with some weird fetish or like going off to like a sexual harass. Random dudes over here that randomly booked the hotel. Yeah, so all of a sudden I must go off and like randomly hear some random female cop over here. Some random mentally ill female with some random mentally ill dude over here. Yeah, right next to my hotel that they sell crack to or like drugs. That go off and like be the beggars in the streets and look out for them. On the side of it, that's why they hit some of these dudes around the space. That's why the space is so bloody and violent. Most of the time is because of the fact that the other police unit or the other militarized group, no specifically at the spy state, work on the lowest level, so they don't deal with this stuff around the space. Sometimes they make it bloody violence, they spice it up. I try it up. Sometimes there's some people that are no fun whatsoever. I'll take no chances on the space side. That's by the time I'm done with this wet police state. Yeah, with the wet black crew over there that just want to go off and claim. I was like, what the hell is this? Like it's like everybody just jumped. yeah, the opportunity to go off and make it about themselves inside my story over here. What's up? I'm like, yo, get up my fucking story over there. They even brought the black folks over here that don't go off and like be racist towards other black people. Yeah, that go off and hang out with some white folks and they always somewhat separate themselves. Yeah, I was like, yo, don't bother me over here. I'm not part of that society, that system over here. What's up? Yeah, I say I'm well balanced. I'm all around the space here. You see my fucking street cred over here. So I literally live in the streets for like an entire year. Yeah, across the space outside. Yeah, I did my time in prison based on like false trials, grifting that was happening around the space here. But the state told me to go fuck myself over here. They were doing everything in their power. Yeah, to go off and try to make sure the person can end up in a madhouse or like end up arrested, all because of the fact that they had a fear that part of the money over there that coming in my pocket will end up inside the pussy or like some sex worker. Yeah, or like Ashley Madison or like Prefer 411 or something like that. Yeah, so by the time I'm going out watching the sex worker over here with a pierced nipple, yeah, with a link tree or everything, go off and be in the streets, I'm like, yo, come over here. What's up? You want a job? Let's just do business. Yeah, here's the deal right here. What's up? I hate the feds. It's me throwing my dollars at you as if we're in the strip club. Yeah, you don't have to touch me and stuff. I just hate the feds so much that I'd rather you keep that business going because apparently that pornography, yeah, that sex scene you have in between your legs over here, yeah, your pierced titties, it's pissing off the feds. I'm like, yeah, I like that over here. I don't like the feds either. I said it's a win-win for me because I get to see titties, and those titties over here, I said, apparently pissing off the feds so much that I'm willing to fund those little titties. Yeah, into my all perversion and stuff like that. Yeah, so I couldn't care less if a dollar was hard to earn. So yeah, the Fed should know that a business is like, especially my business, yeah, it's worth so much money and hard to start that by the time they interfere with my work over there and went out to like someone try to do everything in their power to put their fingerprints inside my life over here, myself, I'll be like, shit, that's like mad dumb over females that are like so fucking degenerates. Yeah, that's like, I don't know, man. Somewhere I had talking points that are popular over the cyberspace. I don't really look at it. What's up? Yeah, I moved on to new things that was like much more proper, like playing with cool ass fucking technology and software that allow me to detect guns in a real society and system and go off and sniff for a butterfly or that type of species on the space outside. That's like even working with an invisible robot that could communicate wirelessly. What's up? So you see, yeah, with like events, nano or milliscale, yeah, machinery systems that communicate with like a good logic controller and a wireless system. What's up? To go off and rebuild an entire mission system, yeah, from inside and out. That's all. Yeah, so by the time I'm done over here, try to fill up so much space in the three-dimensional system over here. Yeah, with back and forth rates. It's like I'm developing a car from scratch and stuff like that. Yeah, but initially I have to do it in a blueprint with like all sorts of calculation and systems, like specification and the techniques on the space here, with whatever toolkits I have in my mathematical function brain, other things I'm familiar with, down to like my chemistry, composition, and my physics, and my ability to like communicate with the machine, and that's like even calculating the latency of that system itself. And so by the time I have to do all those calculations on the space itself, and then go off and like put a product online, and I already have my market for me. Because I sell a product that's advertised at like turning water into gold. Here as demonstrated, here's the witnesses. So I said I'm a natural attract a crowd and be like a rock star on the space. Yeah, I get dirty ass cop over here, go off and try to live with me for 4 years and try to drive me insane to the max. That this is how they wanted me to be in the streets. Yeah, just because of a perversion. That's why it's like go off to play Dexter's, punishing the sinners. And then going off to like somewhat punish people that talk shit over the cyberspace. So the feds was intentionally willing to go off and make me turn me into a dangerous individual, and they released me to the public career just so the feds could go off and like somewhat legally have their turn with me because of the fact that they work and they operate under the badge, so they don't want to lose that job. They like that power feeling of that job itself in that position. Yeah, some executioners. So they're rather to go off and do their duty did when they continue inside of a facility, and then eventually they go off and they deny you stuff on the special playing the government while they go off and try to play all sides, pretending like emotions, they're feeling guilt, all sorts of stuff that's way to like playing people based off the emotions. They're dirty as hell. Yeah, No, because again, I live with the feds over here. That's how the feds wanted to like poison the entire hotel. That's how made everybody feel sick. They intentionally made everybody feel as if they wanted to puke, shit themselves. And by the time they were done over here, they were paying people to go off and ride motorcycles 4,000 times a day, harassing the entire neighborhood 24/7. That's how having shown no love to even a child inside the hotel itself. That's how. Right. So just like that, by the time I leave with those shit bags in Thailand, yeah, I could tell you I ain't got no respect for it. Yeah.